Chances are you have heard about detoxification and detoxifying programs. And you may even have been exposed to some of those terrible programs where you have to swallow all kinds of junky stuff and you feel terrible. And I'm here to tell you, you should never feel terrible on a detox. However, if you think you want to do a detoxification program, one of the most important things to do is make sure that you are paying attention to your liver and doing a properly supported detox. Today, I am so excited to be talking with my good friend and a dear colleague, a valuable resource, Shelley Gawith, who is a nutritional therapy practitioner, and she is so well versed in this topic. She also happens to be joining us today from New Zealand. Shelley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Mira. And this is a topic I'm very passionate about.
I know detoxification is really your bag. You help so many people get back on track with their health and well-being by helping them do proper supportive detoxification. I'd,
And
I'd love it if you could start by just telling us how that came to be your jam.
well, I need to tell you one thing because I think this will resonate for everyone. So I think detoxification's gotten a lot of bad media or press or on in the internet world. And so when I do these programs with clients that are very well supported throughout, I do like a 21-day detox program and a 10-day detox program. Anyway, we were halfway through the 21-day detox program and I was checking in, like me personally, checking in with all the participants. And I was talking to this one person that I've never seen on a one-on-one consult, and she just joined this program. And she was telling me all the amazing benefits that she's like better brain clarity, more energy, sleeping through the night, just feeling her mood. But I could tell after working with so many people for so long, she was hesitant. Like there was just something she was holding back. And so I just asked her, like I said, this is a lot of good things that have happened, but like, where's the like hesitancy? Like, what's going on? And we were on Zoom like this because I like to do the check-ins like face to face on the computer. And she was like, well, I just don't think it's working. And in my head, I was like, not working. You've given me at least 5 to 7 benefits that you've seen in your body already. And so I said, hang on a second. I just need to check that I've heard all these things right. So I repeat them back. And she's like, yes, yes, that's what I said, looking at me like I was really stupid. Like, I just told you that. And I was like, okay, so you've just seen these benefits in 10 days at this point, but it's not working. And she was like, yeah, well, I haven't had headaches. I'm not vomiting and I haven't crashed in bed. She said, I'm not having these shakes and like I've been able to work, I've been able to function. I just feel great. So, like, I'm not detoxing. And I like cracked up, but was trying not to crack up because she was clearly very confused and miffed. And I was like, that is what happens when you do it well supported. We don't actually want you in bed vomiting and shaking and headaches and migraines and feeling so miserable, which is what you do read about quite often. But I said, when you think about the blogs that you read or the things that you heard about detox being like that, was it people doing it on their own that were just doing things at home that they read? Or was it well-supported programs where everything was looked after in their body? And she was like, well, I hadn't really thought about it or really looked into it. But she was like, this is so much better than whatever. But she was literally, Mira, feeling ripped off because she didn't have it. Like, she was like, I can't be, like, she literally said to me, and we've recorded it, I can't be detoxing. And I was like, but she'd seen, and it just stayed with me so much, Mira, because I was like, it's tragic on one level that people are not looking after their liver and not looking after their health, which is such an important, like the liver does 500 different things in our bodies. And I will answer your original question of how I got to this. But so it feels to me so tragic that people don't want to do detoxification or look after their liver health because they're so scared of the symptoms. And I get it. Like, I don't want to go to bed with migraines and headaches and vomiting and all those things either. So I can see where the fear is coming from. But it also breaks my heart because our liver health is so important for our hormonal health, our adrenal, like so many different functions, our gut, like all the things in our body. And so I'm like, it breaks my heart that so many people aren't getting this piece of the health puzzle because they're so scared of the symptoms. But when we're doing it in a well-supported way, you don't need to have those symptoms.
And
So
I also just want to put in a note how tragic that people have been led to believe that the only way you can detox is to feel like crap.
Mira, me too. That actually breaks my heart. And as a practitioner, for your program not to be working because you haven't made them feel like she literally said, I don't think your program's working for me. Hence why I had to repeat back the 7 things that had changed. And I'm like, not working for you, or you just haven't experienced these awful symptoms you think, and so for even for me to be like have to convince her that it was working, she just didn't need to feel terrible, and like that's what she'd prepared herself. And she said, I have been in such bad health for about a decade, but I've been too scared to do anything because I didn't want those symptoms, which broke my heart. That's a mum with children that have missed out on all of these, And so, Mira, that just broke my heart. But to answer your original question, how did I get into this? Well, after almost 10 years of being in clinic now, working one-on-one with clients clinically, online and in person, I realized really early on that I needed to help people with their detox pathways and with their liver. And so and however you want to look at it, over the 10 years, the information's changed. My clients 10 years ago were like, oh, pollution. What pollution? We've come a long way in 10 years. Like I laugh when I used to have to convince them that, the fumes from your petrol was pollution, to today where most of us are accepting that the lights in our offices, the pollution, the flying, I'm all for these things, the drug, like all the medical drugs, the sprays on our vegetables, the fluoride in the water, and even having a son now and watching within the first 2 months with the antenatal mums, the amount of chemicals that were going on to these babies already when their livers and kidneys aren't fully functioning. They're not designed to detoxify that level. And so by the time people would come into my clinic at 30, 40, 50, they've probably had 3 to 4 decades of these toxins, and we've lost through, I think, a lot of good health practices just came from the generations. So
Mhm.
when I say a simple way to help your body with your bile flow, which is your gallbladder to help eliminate toxins, is to eat beetroot. Well, our grandparents and great grandparents often grew beetroot in their vegetable patches, right? And so they were just eating beetroot. Well,
Mhm.
my son eats beetroot for breakfast every morning because he's forced to, but none of the other children, like when I say that to the mums, they're like, no, why would I give my child beetroot? And I'm like, well, how are you helping their gallbladder and the bile flow to actually start the elimination process of these toxins? So we've got more toxins coming at us, and we've
Yeah.
lost a lot of the educational pieces around how we eat and what's going on our plate to make sure we're flashing all of that out properly. So knowing all of that, I realized very early on that like our liver obviously impacts our hormones, and it's like a lot of people would self-diagnose themselves and come into the clinic and tell me they were estrogen dominant, and I'd look at them and be like, based on what? And they'd be like, these symptoms. But I'm like, night flushes quite often, hot, heat, and overweight. And I'm like, they're also liver symptoms. Like if your liver's not detoxifying properly and you've got a toxic load, and every day we produce hormones and some of them need to be eliminated, so all of these things. And so, Mira, I worked out really early on, unless I was really focusing on people being able to flush out the
Mhm.
things the excess that our body doesn't need. And in today's world, our organs are designed to do it, but they're not designed to work to the level that they're being forced to work to today without the dietary support that our ancestors just naturally did. And so that's what got me super passionate about it. And then I saw the reward, like the results for people.
And it's so interesting because I think you're right. Our diet has changed so much. We don't eat nearly the amount of bitter greens that we used to. We're not eating enough fiber the way we used to. And then on top of that, the environmental inputs have just grown exponentially over the years. So it definitely is really challenging. And unless you're having pain in your liver or problems, nobody talks about your liver. So what are some of the things that people could do to think about supporting their liver aside from adding like beetroot or dark greens? What are some of the other things that they could do that would really be important for their liver?
And Mira, you're just on the side note, and then I'll come back to it. A lot of people, especially in New Zealand and Australia, down under where I'm from, unless they've been diagnosed with fatty liver disease,
Mhm.
and in New Zealand and Australia, we believe that our liver literally is just there to process alcohol. And so if you don't drink a lot, people will literally say to me, but I only have like a glass or two of wine a week. There's nothing wrong with my liver. And I'm like, alcohol is just one loader, like just one of many. Like that is not, so by the time the medical world has diagnosed you with a liver condition, there's a lot to do to unpick it. But if we look after our liver daily, then we're never going to have any issues, right? Like we can support it. And the thing I love about liver health, like what you've just asked me to answer, is there's so many different ways to support it. So if you like diet and you want to eat the bitter greens and you want to increase the fiber and you want to eat the beetroot, awesome. Do it with diet. If you
Mhm.
don't want to look at your diet too much, but you love sauning, you love red light, like then you can do the lifestyle things. So then you get to do the things like sitting in the sauna. You get to do the cold therapy. You can do foot detoxes. You can do all sorts of different lifestyle therapies where you're helping your body draw out the toxins outside of it, if you know it, like pull it out of the body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you can do like if you're like, well, I don't have those things, well, Epsom salt baths,
Mhm.
so or Epsom for the clients that tell me they don't have baths, Epsom salt foot soaks, castor oil packs, rolling castor oil on any age group, putting that on your liver, putting that on your feet, putting that on, like, so you can topically apply things. You can bind it out of your body so you can do the lifestyle impacts. Water is amazing for your liver, just getting that and making sure that we're pooing every single day. I know, mirror me, pooing every day, like just bodily functions, like pooing every day means that we're binding out our daily load of toxins as well. And then you can do it in terms of supplements, like if you prefer to take like different supplements supported with a practitioner. And also then looking at where are all the toxins coming from? So I
Mhm.
always say to clients, like Mira and I were talking about this before we were recorded. I'm the first one to say to people, I get on planes all the time, especially before my baby, and I flew long distance. You don't have to. The thing I love about liver health is you don't have to stop the life that you love. We don't need to live in this perfect bubble where we don't leave our houses because we're so scared of the environment and the planes and the toxins and the EMFs and all the things. You go, that's what I want for my life. And I valued flying and I valued education and going to these conferences and meeting amazing people like you. So then it's like, okay, I want that. So on the other hand, on the other side of the scale, what am I going to put in to look after my body and help support my liver, flush it through? So what
Mhm.
do I need to do so that when I get off the plane, I would book in for saunas, I'd book in for ozone treatments, I'd book in for IVs, I'd take my supplements, I'd watch my diet. So it's like, how do you want to live your best life? And I feel
Mhm.
like that's the gift when we know the tools to look after our liver and we know what's coming into our bodies, we have so much flexibility to live the life that we want and that we love.
And even more than that, we're also helping support all the different body systems, sleep and energy and metabolism and digestion and all, because the liver is so important for digestion and people forget that. Our bile duct is huge in terms of helping us with dietary inputs and that sort of thing. And the healthier we can keep all of those body systems, the healthier we age. We're talking about building a vibrant aging life. And so I love that you help people focus on that.
And Mira, I think it's so important when people, we won't get into this because it's a whole nother topic, but when people say to me, how did my gut bacteria get all out of balance, like the good guys and the bad guys? Well, if you're not digesting and your liver's not working properly to digest your fats properly, your bile production, and eliminate it, that's why that drips in and feeds into that bad gut bacteria. So that causes the brain fog and the brain, because our gut and our brains are connected, and that
Sure.
disrupts our hormones and that causes stress on our body. Like, so many of us look at the external stresses like the work pressure or the financial pressure or the family pressure and all those pressures, which are valid. But what about the internal pressure when our bodies aren't functioning how they're meant to and how we're designed to give life and give energy and make us vibrant and feel amazing? That's a huge stress on our body that's happening daily and grinding and wearing our bodies down.
No, absolutely. And I love that you shared that there's so many different ways that people can support their liver, through diet, through external sources, through lifestyle choices, etc. And that all of this is also helping simply support better detoxification because our body wants to detoxify all by itself. We just have too many modern inputs that are overwhelming its ability to keep up.
That Mira, that's exactly it. Like, our bodies are designed for health,
Mhm.
100%. And sometimes we just need to give it the framework to get on back on track and just support it to thrive.
Yeah. Well, this has just been amazing. You've shared so much valuable information. And for anybody who's watching, I want to encourage you to remember the most important points are you do not need to feel terrible when you do a detox. You will experience benefits if you support your liver and detoxify your body. And then also to remember that there are many different ways to do it. So working with a practitioner such as Shelley or myself, or if there's someone else that you know who is a nutrition practitioner, to do that will help you get that much further on your health and wellness journey. Shelley, thank you so much for being here. This was really fun. I always love talking with you, but this has been really great, and I really appreciate all the information that you've shared.
Thank you, Mira, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So for everybody who's watching, I'll put a couple of links down below. So be sure to check those out. And if you are interested in doing more to help support your body with detox, I definitely encourage you to check out some of the information down below. And then remember, as always, to make today a healthy day. Bye, folks.